it would be the biggest moment in all of boxing history on Friday night when I put this man to sleep. So that is pretty dope.
He dreams a lot.
Don't charge at me, Tyson.
Dreams a lot.
A lot of dreams.
I knew it
There's a
didn't
lot
all
of
come
dreaming.
true.
I mean, this is not going to come true, young man.
Hey, man.
Boxing World's most anticipated fight is coming up on November 15th. Mike Tyson is set to face the younger Paul. The two fighters had their first face-to-face interaction ahead of Fight Week, where Jake promised to knock the old man out. In the MVP face-to-face interaction, Jake talked about his growth, his motivation, and his plan to knock boxing veteran out. The young fighter showed a lot of confidence, saying that it is his time to shine and make a mark on the boxing world in his own unconventional ways.
It's just my time. The universe know it, the gods know it, I know it, and you're gonna know it. Plain and simple.
Okay, for next week, we'll see.
We will.
But even though the Paul brothers are known for their ego, Jake was smart enough to admit that this fight won't be easy. Tyson built a whole legacy on his raw power in the ring and cemented his name in the boxing world. Even at 58, he's still a threat to even the most seasoned boxers.
I have to be alert. This is a scary, scary man. He's a killer and has all the power still clearly in all.
Even though Tyson fought an exhibition match just 4 years ago against Roy Jones Jr., this is his first proper fight in around 20 years. That had many fans and professionals speculating if Tyson was even good enough at this age to go back in the ring and fight someone half his age. That is something only Fight Night will tell, but so far Tyson's training and sparring videos showcase his strength, agility, and mobility. Even Jake's mom is scared.
In all the videos, all the sparring that he's showing, dropping his sparring partners, my mom is messaging, she can't even watch Tyson punch.
Right.
She won't watch it because it scares her. And he has one of the deadliest uppercuts of all time. So of course I have to be ready and know that.
Tyson acknowledged Jake's strength as a boxer and applauded his motivation, but the old man made it very clear that there's no world in which Jake wins and he loses. According to Henry Cejudo on his Pound for Pound channel, Tyson ditches all old and bad habits like weed to focus and dedicate himself entirely to the sport.
And I know you wake up every 5 in the morning, you're doing your runs. I'm just like, really, Mike? You don't smoke weed. You pretty much go completely sober to really, you clean your body because a little.
That just goes to show that when it comes to the sport, even after all the ups and downs, Tyson always locks in to train and gives it his all. And that requires an ironclad mentality where even the thought of losing does not exist.
So I can't even fathom losing. I can't even imagine it. He's not going to win. I think he thinks this is going to be a very easy night. It's not going to be an easy night.
I don't think that.
Many professionals and fans have called both fighters out for having a rigged match. Former super middleweight king Carl Froch said that even though this fight is being sanctioned as professional boxing, nothing about it is professional. Tyson doesn't have a license and the match has 8 two-minute rounds. Froch thinks that one of the clauses in their contract is that Tyson can't try and hurt him. Jake pushed back on these claims in the MVP face-to-face to say that the comments about being rigged used to offend him, but the public isn't aware of his power in the ring.
Chalk up what I've done to the fights being rigged. Still, when he posts on his Instagram looking like a killer, hitting the shit out of the mitts, the top 5 comments are, if Jake wins this fight, it's completely rigged. And that used to bother me.
Right.
That used to bother me because I was like, no, I'm working so hard. Can't you fucking people see? But now I take it as
a lot of the controversy surrounding Jake's career is that he picks fighters that are retired, MMA turned boxers, or beyond their prime. Jake is well aware of this as he joked on a training session with YouTuber Jesse James.
to go to senior citizen homes and just pick out my next opponent.
Because of this unconventional approach to his career, along with the fact that he is already popular for being the problem child, both him and his brother garnered the opinion that they are unserious, attention-seeking, and money-hungry. Since Jake's downfall online, he's made his presence in the boxing world apparent, and even got a few knockouts under his belt. But even then, the legitimacy of his career is being called to question. He responded to this saying,
wearing Gymshark, which you can get for 10% off if you use code Jesse. Not only does the clothing look awesome, but the quality is unmatched.
And his prediction is that the fight will be bloody and hard, but he won't quit until he's the winner.
I fucking quit, and neither am I. You could rip my head off. I can go down to the canvas. You can fuck me up. I could be bleeding from everywhere, and I'm not going to stop. And I know that.
Tyson's exhibition match with Jones Jr. was the last time the boxing world saw him fight. In a recent training camp footage, his trainers claimed that he is in better shape for this match than he was 4 years ago. He's worked out the kinks and faults and is fully ready for whatever happens next.
Mike is much better than he was when he fought at Right. So 4 years later, with 58, he's better than 54.
For someone to fight at the age of 58, even after postponing the fight because of an ulcer that almost killed him, it takes an insane amount of courage and dedication to go against the odds. Tyson has always been scary in the ring, and outside of it, he is respected because he is feared and admired. Another coach who's helping him train said,
"It's in him. It's something that's ingrained in him. He's been like that for his whole life, and that's why you see something special every time you see him fight, every time you see him do an interview."
There is a flaw to Tyson's plan, and that is Jake's body shots. Jake may be a novice boxer, but he is currently at his prime. His training shows great improvement, and he's fighting pretty often, which means he's training almost all year long. It is expected that Tyson will push to hurt Jake in the first few rounds to dominate the fight, but the WADE concept talked on his channel about how Jake shouldn't be underestimated.
Bread and butter. I'm talking bread on wheat. Is that jab to the body right hand or the right hand off the break of the clinch. See the knockdown he hit Anderson Silva with. These things are a potential threat to Mike Tyson. These things are a potential.
Jake is still pretty green to the sport and hasn't faced this volume and combination before in his fight. His prediction for if Tyson pushes too early and too fast is
pretty decent off his back foot. If you pressure him, he will sit down in the pocket, he will jab you to the body, and he will throw that right hand straight down the pipe, and then when it lands, say what you want about Jake, he's got power.
But stepping into the ring with a former Disney star, when Tyson was once the beast of boxing, makes this fight almost humorous. That's because even now, there is a possibility that Mike Tyson loses to a young fighter who hasn't made any major dents to cement himself in the boxing world. That sort of fear of losing is the driving factor of Tyson's dedication, despite the 31-year age gap. But instead of viewing this fear as a weakness, Tyson views it as a strength and talked about how it makes him more powerful.
I don't know. That's just who I am. I'm a fear-based person. My whole life is based off fear of failing, fear of succeeding, because succeed may lead to failure in another direction or in a higher participant of that direction. And but I know how to control my fear. My fear doesn't dominate me. I have a relationship with my fear.
So you have
Mike Tyson is not the only one afraid, though. The elephant in the room remains, and that is his age and health. Jake won't be winning any brownie points by taking down a veteran fighter double his age. In fact, many professionals and fans are strictly against this fight, and specifically against Tyson fighting at his big age. Dana White, the head of UFC, talked about how someone of his age shouldn't be back in the ring.
Fight again. You tried to talk him out of fighting again. Have you spoken to him about this one?
He gets mad when I do this, but Mike's 60, man. I don't know. What do you guys think about it? Mike Tyson has a puncher's chance against anybody. Mike's 58 years old. You know what I mean?
Right.
I hate doing this because Mike gets mad at me every time I do this, but Mike shouldn't be fighting.
While he appreciates Jake for being out there and making a living out of this career, he made valid criticisms based on the choices of his opponents.
Fight guys that box for a living and guys that are your age. How about that?
He says he wants to fight Canelo. I'm just saying what he. That's what
I hear you. Then why is he not fighting Canelo?
Fighting boxers that are of his age and caliber would help Jake achieve his dream of being world champion. But so far, his fights don't seem legit to many. He is powerful and has improved a ton, and aiming for better matchups is understood to be better for this career. British promoter Eddie Hearn went as far as to say that he won't even tune in to watch the fight between Tyson and Paul. The idea of watching an almost 60-year-old man get in the ring to fight seems disrespectful to him. Tyson, at his prime, was capable of biting his opponent's ears off or knocking them out hard. The current Tyson can't ever match that. While he's brave to visit the ring again, Jake promising to take down a 60-year-old man who's a legend would leave a bad taste in anyone's mouth.
Don't want to watch one of my all-time favourite fighters, one of my heroes, I guess, in a boxing ring at 55 years of age, physically a shell of what he once was.
Tyson told Intelligencer that training for this fight the first time around nearly killed him. He was in the bathroom throwing up blood and had a bleeding ulcer, which is why the fight was postponed. That makes this concern extremely valid. Tyson's training pretty hard at the end of the day, so it will still be an extremely interesting fight. Mark Wahlberg, a popular actor, shared that he's looking forward to the fight as Mike is his dear friend and would love a one-round knockout.
I'd like to see the old Mike come out one more time, one rounder. I just hope nobody gets hurt.
The last person to be in the ring was Jones Jr., and he has faith in Tyson's ability to persevere despite his age.
A very rugged guy. When I was in there with Mike, Mike still was hard to hit, and Mike still can hit hard as hell. So no reason to really fear for Mike. The only thing I fear for Mike is like if the fight goes beyond 4 or 5 rounds, then it could get problematic for Mike because of his age. But if he doesn't go beyond 4 or 5 rounds, he'll be fine. So I think
his safest bet is to keep his defense strong, take down Jake with his killer shots, and try to make sure that the fight doesn't go on for too long. Adam Catterall doesn't view Tyson as just any other 58-year-old, and boxing is a dangerous sport as it is.
Boxing. He's not a boxer. He's not from this world. And he's taking on, as Andy said a minute ago, one of the baddest men still on the planet today. It could be disastrous. It really could.
According to him, Tyson's previous fight was with another seasoned and veteran boxer, so they both knew not to hurt each other, but also put on a fight. But if Jake triggers Tyson's raw power, he might not hold back since everyone knows Tyson is a bull with no regard for the opposing fighter. At the end of the day, both these fighters will walk home with a ton of money having entertained thousands of people. Who do you think will win this fight? Let us know in the comments below and subscribe for more.